Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Tuesday, August 30th, 2022, second to last day of August. Yes, September 1st is here. Thursday, week one, NCAAF, handful of games, couple good games on the docket Thursday. As we get closer to Saturday and the big slate. Actually, there's football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think. All 4 or 5 days, whatever you want to say, for the Labor Day weekend. All you fantasy guys out there getting ready for your, friends draft, work draft, suicide pools, Mr. Lucky getting ready for week one of the circle. We will have him on Fridays on the second half of the closing bell with my co-host, Riley Magnuson, or if Scott will be off that day, one of the two. Will be breaking down a few of his lucky locks and bagels, and then he'll talk about the circuit contest and his potential 5 picks for that week. So getting that little ahead of schedule. Shout out to Bernie Fratto at Fox Sports Radio. It won't be weekend at Bernie's, but it'll be lunch with Bernie next Thursday at South Point. So psyched to see and talk to Bernie. It's been a while. He's been super busy this summer. Haven't been able to sneak him on, but he'll be back this morning. Good friend Julian Edlow from DraftKings on his weekly Tuesday half-hour show with us. We got some stuff brewing in the back here. God willing, hopefully, maybe sooner than later, could be breaking some big news there, God willing. But today, it's cut day. And I see my co-host is in the studio, so he made the cut. He's on the roster, at least for this fall, so God bless him. From the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Riley, you made the cut.
I made the cut. I'm happy to be here, my friend. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Closing bell, my friend. Yeah, it is cut day. Eagles fans apparently are planning the championship parade. Good move, but Eagles fans are jumping all the way to February for the championship parade with this defense they're assembling here. So yeah, good move for sure. But I maybe pump the brakes a little bit there. But you know what? We haven't talked too much about the NFC East. At some point, maybe today, I'd be interested in some of your thoughts as far as that division as a whole. But I'm trying to think of off the top if there are any other crazy cut decisions as far as my Packers. Really the biggest theme as opposed to anyone cut is that maybe they'll bring in a lot of safeties have been cut today. And maybe, you've heard me talk about the concern with the depth behind the starters for the secondary. So I think maybe the Packers will pick up somebody in that respect before the season starts. But aside from that, I don't think anything too crazy is going on today. We've got some baseball going on tonight, so I am ready to rock and roll, my friend. Full slate. Maybe we'll get some more NFL news as the rest of the day winds down.
I still have to say the biggest news in the past 2 days is the re-signing, restructure of Jimmy G to the 49ers. Now, again, I'm not in Shanahan's head. I know it would have been a dead cap hit. I know of 2 teams that were just waiting for him to be cut. Seattle, and I still think the Browns would love to have Jimmy G start for 11 weeks and then figure it out when Deshaun, if and when Deshaun comes back there. Restructure the contract. It's Lance's team, but someone brought it up on Gambling Twitter, and I thought it was great. They listed like 4 or 5 big-name quarterbacks that sat out year 1, and then they were given the keys to the car in year 2, and the backups were cut or traded. This didn't happen. Is this more for financial reasons, meaning Jimmy G, here's the clipboard, be quiet, be a good soldier, you got a no-trade clause. So if we wanted to trade you midseason, you have to approve. Otherwise, next year you can go wherever the hell you want? Or is this more, they're really not sure if Lance is ready?
I think it's closer to where you were headed in the first track. But, I mean, at the same time, it is a decent insurance policy. As far as you look through Shanahan's tenure with the Niners, his record with Jimmy G and without Jimmy G, and this isn't more about Jimmy G, it's more about just a baseline quarterback as opposed to backup bad quarterback play. The discrepancy there is massive, and when he has been working any of the years or any of the games in which he's had these backup quarterbacks, Nick Mullins, a handful of other guys, the record is terrible. So now, I think it's closer to what you said, tougher to move on from him, financial reasons. Maybe the Seahawks, Browns, or anyone else weren't really giving them anything, worth taking. But then at the end of the day, it also is a nice insurance policy on top of him not really being around and breathing down Trey Lance's back during the training camp or preseason. I saw somebody else have that opinion today, and I totally agree with it. So, all across the board, I think it makes sense. I think he'll hang around there for year one, and God forbid anything happens to Trey Lance, then obviously you got Jimmy G for the rest of the way to get them, kind of tread water or, let the rest of the roster take over. So, it kind of makes sense to me, but a year from now we'll be seeing a new home for Jimmy G, obviously.
I'm going to you talked about NFC East. I'm going to throw a name out at you that I heard around 4:00 is 4 or 5 teams knocking on the doors, potential trade. If anyone would be looking, a potential late first round pick last year or 2 years ago. Last year, he was taking over Justin Jefferson, and that's Jalen Reagor, and soon to be available supposedly at 4:00. If you're the Packers, are you interested?
Possibly. I'm glad you brought that up because that was one that I saw in the mix as well. The Packers did cut Juwan Winfrey today, who was in the kind of 8 guys that were in the consideration to be 6 or 7 kept. So I think there's definitely some consideration in bringing him in. Obviously, they're not going to shell out any serious draft capital, but yeah, if it takes next to nothing to grab him, then I think they'll be in that conversation. But at the same time, he didn't work out for a reason, and I'm not sure the type of impact that he would have. But, as far as another option, when you're looking, if you're the Packers, at finding any amount of guys that can be playmakers, then, yeah, I think, it's at least worth checking into. And really, I think the evaluation on him, if they like him and think he can contribute, then I think they'll go out and get him. If not, then I think they won't go out and get him. I think it's as simple as that. So either they like him or they don't. But yeah, I think the Packers. I'm trying to think of there was 2 other teams that I saw maybe in the mix, but obviously I know for me, obviously my eyes lit up when I saw the Packers. So I'm drawing a blank on the other 2 teams there. But I think they'll be in on him, and I think he'll find a home here before the season starts in the next whatever it is, 10 days now.
I'll give you 3 initials, yay or nay. OBJ.
I'll say yay. I will say yay as long as he's healthy. As far as the fit, the chemistry, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I'll say yay. And it seems like they're probably just making sure he's healthy and not really trying to overpay for him. But I'll say yay. I would love to see some OBJ action at some point this season.
Well, I've talked with you for a while about the banana and the tailpipe and how many years am I going to get taken by the Packers in the championship, in the playoff run. They got me again last year, and I swore they wouldn't. I promised you they wouldn't, and they did. Now, a team that is in a division, listen, I'm not going to say you're going to run away from the division. I think Minnesota will be competitive. I think Detroit will get over that 6.5 wins. Then comes the Bears, who, hey, hats off. Justin looked pretty good his last game. I don't know what to expect here, but someone like OBJ, who last year was coming on down the stretch, and I will say this again, was going to be your Super Bowl MVP until he got hurt.
100%. I completely agree with you. And so even if he's 80% of what he can be, I would be interested in him. And all the narratives, obviously he's been an eccentric personality for the most part, but I kind of push back as far as some of the, the chemistry issues for the most part there. You put him into a solid situation, winning situation, I think he'll work out. And yeah, the buzz around the Bears right now, after that last preseason game, obviously I'm surrounded by a lot of Bears fans over here, both locally and in my circle of people that I talk to. But I think the biggest storyline for the Bears is how motivated they are throughout the entire season, because I still believe that this is a one of the lesser talented rosters in the league, regardless of what Justin Fields does. This offensive line isn't very good, but the MO that you're hearing right now, the narrative that you're hearing, is that they're going to be playing really hard. They do play really hard, and so is that going to last the entire season, like we saw with the Lions, winning 3 games the entire season and fighting to the end, or is by week 9, when they're if they're 2-7, is that going to be all she wrote and they're going to be looking towards the end of the season? I don't know. So I think they'll have some scrap in them the first handful of the first half of the season, and then motivation wise at the end, I think will determine whether or not you're seeing a scrappy Bears bunch come Christmas time at the in December this year.
NFC East, my quick thoughts are it's the Eagles to lose. I think Hurts will make the next step. How quickly will A.J. Brown fit in there? I love Goddard. I think Devontae Smith makes the next step up. Miles Sanders has been nowhere to be found the last couple of weeks, and they just keep him in bubble wrap for week 1.
Yeah.
I think Gainwell and Scott are serviceable there. Their defense is going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of quarterbacks. Dallas, again, the O-line was not as good as the O-line of the past. Then
Right.
They lose the left tackle. No Amari Cooper, Gallup banged up. Cedric Wilson has left the building. A lot of pressure on this defense. Washington and Rivera, the Brian Robertson, who's having a great camp, gets shot Sunday. And it was nice to see him back at camp today on crutches. God bless him and his family there. Speedy recovery there. I don't know. It's a coin flip. And the Giants. Okay, listen, the Giants have the easiest schedule in the NFL, number 1. We've been waiting for Jones to take the next step. Galladay couldn't catch a football if he had Velcro on his hands and the ball had Velcro. Ingram has left the building. Will Barkley be playing week 10, 11, 12, and 13? Kadarius Toney, I like him. I like he makes the next step up there. A lot of ifs. You know what? The odds are basically Philly and Dallas plus 150, then a cloud of dust. I don't know how you're shaking it. I think it's the year of the Eagle.
I'm for the most part, I'm with you. At this point, I was hoping to hear more positive things about Daniel Jones, because up until this, because I'm a big Brian DeBoll guy, and up until this point, I had kind of been in the camp of, because I believe the offensive line and the play calling for Daniel Jones up to this point had been so miserable. Of course, he hasn't looked good, but I was kind of in the camp of, I don't think you should judge this guy because it was such a horrendous situation, play calling an offensive line. But now we're not hearing, obviously, the greatest things even through, the first few weeks of camp here and into, the Bulls' first season. So I think they will be a much better team fundamentally. And if at the first half of the season last year, I mean, they were a tough out game to game for the most part there. They had some games they were, close with, and then obviously Jones went out and Andy Dalton comes in, and it's just a circus show for the last 8-9 weeks or whatever it is. So I think they will be a much more competitive team from start to finish and a tough out. Having said that, they're still just not a good enough team to leapfrog those two teams, in my opinion. So I got them winning 7-8 games because of the schedule, because I think they're just going to be that much better of a fundamentally sound team. But yeah, I'm with you as far as I think the move today does help the Eagles a lot. But I think the Cowboys have a few too many flaws. And if they're going to win the division, I think it's because Dak maybe takes a step up himself and puts together a close to an MVP type situation. I'm not saying that happens, but I think that would be the recipe for the Cowboys winning this division, unless obviously the other 3 teams continue to be as bad as they've been the last few years. But I'm with you. I think the Eagles take a step up, and as long as Jalen Hurts is competent, I think they are the better team than the Cowboys in that division. So I think you and I are on the same page for the most part as far as the NFC East there.
I have I do a lot of work with Brady Tinker from Dallas, who does work for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and Mark Cuban and the Mavericks and the other 2 professional teams there. And we talk at length. We're actually doing some behind the scenes work, me, Brady, and Dave Sharapin. Hopefully be releasing that this fall. The O-line, okay, is the big concern. But, last year, looking at the fact that Amari Cooper was out, Gallup was hurt, and it was a 3 or 4 week period that CeeDee Lamb was ready to shine, and he was nowhere to be found.
Right.
It was the Cedric Wilson and the Schultz show. Now, We all know CeeDee Lamb is gifted. We all know how good he really is. Does he take that next step, saying Amari's out of the building, Cedric's not here, Gallup's hurt? Hey, guys, it's my team. Give me the rock.
You would expect so, and I hope. I am a dynasty holder in my most proud league that I am in. He is one of the cornerstones of my team, so I really hope so. But this is a team that over the past few years, with and without guys on the field, you've gotten a decent, clear picture, and I think this might be the one case where you would say and you would expect improvement coming on the season for CeeDee Lamb. But, with or without Amari Cooper, the efficiencies without Amari Cooper go down. Smith it's eye-popping how much worse they are, or how much less efficient they are without Smith on the field. So I think that's really going to be not Smith himself, but the offensive line as a whole could be the story of this team. The way they use, I think Tony Pollard's a better running back than Ezekiel Elliott, and they use Ezekiel Elliott like it's 1999, running the football, the style of running football that they do. So we talked about Mike McCarthy being a candidate for, first coach fired if things go south the first few weeks. I'm not, obviously he holds a special place in my heart as being a Super Bowl winning coach for the Packers, but I can't remember if I've said it here before, but I think they would have won more than one if it was a different coach during that time span. I'm not the biggest fan in 2022 at the very least in Mike McCarthy, so I think it could be ugly. In a perfect world, and Dak is looking awesome, and maybe they're putting up a ton of points, I think they look really good for a few weeks. But there's going to be some spots during the season where you scratch their head and say, man, what happened to the Cowboys losing 35-14 or something like that, and then maybe the next week they bounce back. But, it was a defense that was very successful gambling earlier on in the season as far as the risk that they took. Diggs especially obviously looked awesome in the first half with how many interceptions he had. But I think it did regress last year, and I think it's going to regress again this year. So not a huge fan of their defense. Not saying it's going to be terrible, but I'm not a huge fan there. So given a harder schedule, I'd be so much lower on them, but they still obviously have a fairly respectably easily scheduled the Cowboys. But, yeah, I think there's going to be problems at a handful of different points this season for them.
My buddy Sean Childs, at Sean_Childs, content creator, projections creator for Sports Illustrated, does all their work for fantasy baseball, fantasy football, and DraftKings and the Millie Makers. Number one ranked scoring defense for fantasy this year. Your Dallas Cowboys.
It still could be as far as the game. Taking the gambles, if it works from a fantasy perspective, yeah, different story, I would say for sure. Maybe they'll have some pick sixes, but I think you're going to see a handful more embarrassing highlights of them getting burnt a few times, depending on who they're playing every single week. But yeah, it's definitely still in that respect. It's still something to think about.
Well, I trust Sean and his projections, but in the same token, the two times I drafted Dallas's D, I made sure I grabbed the Titan D, because Dallas opens up against Tom Brady. I know it's Sunday night. I know it's at Dallas, but I'm going to pass there, and I'm going to take my shot with the Titans at home against against the Giants. How's that?
Yeah, I don't dislike that at all. I'm usually wait plenty of time, and maybe I piece it together during the season for my fantasy defense typically. So I've got the Steelers in my dynasty league for fantasy defense, so I might be looking for somebody else week one. But for a dynasty, I don't dislike having the Steelers nice and gritty defense there to hold on to there.
MLB small.
But sorry, my heart did drop though when I got an alert about T.J. Watt in this last preseason game, though. By the way, as far as that is concerned, so I was happy to hear that. If this was a regular season game, he might have come back. But yeah, anyways, go ahead.
MLB last night, short slate. We talked about the Sunday night travel team and the St. Louis Cardinals. It was just the anomaly. Our buddy Luis, Mr. Lucky, pointed that out last night. But I did say this on the show, that you could take the team total over 3.5 and you could take the 2-1. So you ended up splitting there. They get to 4. We stay away from the rain games. It was a start, stop. Cardinals put up almost 2 touchdowns again. Tonight, again, 2-1 favorites. The under over was 9.5. It's up to 10.5 juice under. Wind blowing out 10 miles an hour, straight center field. 6.5 juiced under team total for St. Louis tonight. So you need the touchdown and the extra point or 2-point conversion. I know we got a full slate, but this Cardinal team, hey, Brewer fans, how are those tickets looking in March? You got lucky. You would have been 8 back if you didn't get lucky with a walk-off 2-run homer by Mr. Huera last night as well.
Yeah, it's as close to I don't want to say the word open and shut. It's a lock for the Cardinals, but I just don't think the Brewers have enough firepower. So I'm with you, and obviously the Cardinals getting the Reds right at this time doesn't help the Brewers' case either, as far as trying to chase them down when they've got the Pirates. So. Heck of a slate. We've got a handful of games, a solid, playoff race games, at least one side of the token in a lot of these matchups. So, first one up is 5:10 my time, 6:10 your time. The Orioles and the Cleveland Guardians, both 67 total wins. The Guardians one less loss. They've got them by half a game there. Cleveland just lost over the weekend, 3 out of 4 to Seattle. They still got a 1.5 game lead over the Twins in the Central. I think it's 5 games over my White Sox. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I've obviously ugly spot we're in right now. So got to bury him when I can bury him right now. Hopefully we can dig ourselves out. Orioles 2 games out of the wild card right now. They are still playing nice baseball. Took care of my White Sox fairly handily, and was it the Astros over the weekend they took care of, or am I mixing their team up that they had this weekend, the Orioles?
Orioles was
2 out of 3 against the Astros. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Watkins tonight versus Quantrill. Watkins has been decent lately. Quantrill, 3 out of 5 starts in August, 0 earned runs. He's got 2 starts with 4 earned runs, but the other 3, 0 earned runs. So your guess is as good as mine right now. Minus 145, 150 in the favor of the Cleveland Guardians. They are the home team tonight. Any which way you're leaning in this one, I see 8 as a total in one spot, 8.5 in another spot. Run line for Cleveland about plus 140, excuse me. Anything that you like out of this one so far?
I'm going to stick to the script. If you've been backing the Orioles, I'm okay with that. But I'm just going to say this. The Guardians lost 3 out of 4 to Seattle over the weekend, and they lost all 3 games because of the long ball, meaning their pitchers pitched great. It was just like Thursday, 1 pitch in the first inning from Sticks. They lose 3-1 there. They were lost on Friday the same way, like 2-1, 3-1 again on homers.
Right.
I talked about it Saturday to you. They were in a great spot, down 3-0, come back, win 4-3 or 5-4, something like that. And then again on Sunday, we had them as a part of our parlay 3-teamer, which we lost because of them. We hit the other 2. Again, the long ball. I'm just going to say this. I was talking to a few people today. Quantrill, where is SoCal today? SoCal, if you're listening, you used to say whenever he pitched, go against him. The kid has been real, real good of late. I like what you said before I went on this rant. Guardians plus 140, 150 on the run line. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go into the minus. Where are they now? I got to trust and respect the opening number here. Overnight, the Guardians, where's my eyes here? The Guardians were minus 150. They knew they wanted the Oriole money. So I'm not going to go 145. I'm not going to go 142. It's 150 at DraftKings. Give me the Guardians run line tonight.
I think I'm with you. This is a team that I talked about at the beginning of the season as far as maybe on the road I might be interested in fading the Guardians, but at home they're a better baseball team. I mean, obviously maybe that's not saying anything, but 32-25 at home compared to 35-34 on the road for the Guardians. So, I like them quite a bit at home in a lot of spots, unless it's glaringly, take the opposite side. I'm going to stay away from whatever opposing team they've got, and I'm interested in the Guardians with you to some degree here tonight. You're obviously there's the hit or miss factor with Quantrill. The 3 starts at 0, 2 at 4 earned runs, but he's pitching really well right now. I'm happy to buy into maybe a 2 earned runs or less start from him in this one. So I think I'm with you on the Guardians' interest here.
Do you have the next 2 starters, or is it a 1? See, okay, the Guardians are minus 225 in this series at Wager Talk. So my guess is that you're getting some Sticks and Bieber after this.
Let's double check. They've got 2 more after this. McKenzie tomorrow versus Jordan Lyles. And then, let's see, on Thursday, you've got Bieber versus Bradish. So you're spot on with that one.
So, guys, I'll go. Listen, I don't give out minus 225s very often. I know everyone is an action junkie. I get that. So supposedly, if Baltimore is going to win one game out of these three, it's going to be tonight.
Right.
So what I'm just going to say is, again, I don't give this out often, but I do like the Guardians to win this series with the fact that I think that they can win tonight. And then I'll take my chances with Sticks and Bieber to win one out of the next two.
I like it. No, I think I'm 100% with you on that one. That is, what did you say it was? Minus 225?
It was 225 in one spot, 195 at Bet Online, 185 at Heritage. The consensus right now is minus 190.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to do some price shopping real quick. FanDuel's got it minus 196 right in front of my eyes here. They've been offering those series winners too. So definitely interested in there. That's, yeah, I mean, McKenzie, the way he's been pitching, and obviously Bieber's been heating up right now. And again, if you get those guys at home, I'm really interested in both of those guys right now. So, and Quantrill, honestly. So all three of them. Heading over not too far into Cincinnati for this next one. We already talked about it a little bit. St. Louis and Cincinnati. You've got Hudson versus Dunn on the mound tonight. I believe Dunn, only a few starts. The last two have been better than the first two. Any interest out of this one from you? You said, what was it, 6.5 team total for the Cardinals. Any way to get into this one for the Cardinals or the Reds here?
Hudson's going to give up some runs. Obviously, we're assuming Dunn's going to give up some runs, and over under of 9.5 last night, now 10.5. A late to the party. You didn't have the Cardinals team total last night. You can get positive plus 115, 120, 6.5 over. I know it's a big number, but the fact is the wind's blowing out. So my point on this is if you took the Cardinals team total over 6.5 plus money, you could take the over in the game of 10.5, as long as you got at least 4 from Cincinnati and you got your 6 to 7. There's a way to middle this. That's my point in all this.
Yeah.
Again, this Cardinals team is scoring a lot of runs. That's my point here. They're scoring a lot. You don't see 6.5s anywhere unless it's at Coors. And now they're giving it to you today. They want you to bet the under. I think the Cardinals get to 7 or more today.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at Dunn, I mentioned 4 starts, 6 home runs allowed, at least 1 in every single one. You're talking about the wind blowing out, so you add that in, and then ground ball to fly ball, 41 fly balls compared to 17 ground balls. So, I think the wind may or may not be a factor in this one tonight.
So you got Arenado, you got Goldschmidt, you got Pujols, and you know who's heating up over there is Tyler O'Neill as well.
Yep. Pujols, what is he, 294 right now? 290, or excuse me, not 294, 694?
694.
Okay. Yep. And people were wondering maybe he's not going to be in the lineup against the righty, but I think Justin Dunn might be an exception on that one. So moving on to the next one, Tampa Bay and Miami. Not a 10.5 total, I believe. Last I checked, we've got a flat 6. Some spots got it up to 6.5. Game total out of this one, Tampa and Miami. McClanahan versus Luzardo. Miami obviously still can't score. That's leading you to that part of that total. And obviously you got McClanahan on the other side of things. 0 earned run last time out. But Jesus Luzardo, 2.67 ERA over 5 starts since a return from the IL. I believe all 5 starts are in August there. And in 5 starts, 4 hits or less in 4 of those 5. So are you buying the total at this how low it is? Is that fair? Or is that maybe a spot where just when everyone thinks it's going to be a 2-1 game, we're going to see a 7-6 shootout?
I was just going to say McClanahan's leaking oil, but again, he had a good start. He hasn't been since the All-Star break, the McClanahan that started the year. Luzardo, Miami, again, these numbers are set for a reason. Now, can Miami get to 4? Hell no, probably not. If they do, there should be duck boats and parades. Okay. But again, they're pricing you in. The Rays have heated up. You can play the Rays first 5 minus the hook. Run line minus 1.5. That's the only way you can get in there unless you're dog shopping. And I don't have a problem if someone wants to get cute and try to get in there with Luzardo. I just have not with my money.
No, and I mean, even the plus 1.5 is enticing, but yeah, this Miami team is a tough pill to swallow. And Tampa Bay on the other side of things, last 4 days, 8 runs, Obviously down for a 1 run and then 12 runs. So 3 out of 4 days they're scoring 8 runs. 3 of the last 4 days, or games, I should say. But yeah, I'm with you as far as staying away from that one for the most part there. I've been interested in Luzardo to some degree, but as we've talked about, it doesn't matter how good these pitchers for Miami is. Their offense just doesn't score. So moving on to arguably, unless I'm blanking on a different one, worst matchup of the day on paper at least, Oakland versus Washington. Cole Irvin and Fedde for the Nationals. The A's actually split with the Yankees over the weekend. And Irvin, 0 earned run in his last start. He's been not too bad for the A's this year. Fedde obviously has not been very good. You are seeing about -110 both ways in this one. Would you like to see this line a little bit higher in Irvin's case if you're back in the A's or trying to get confidence in the A's? Is this a Nationals line all the way, or am I off my rocker with this one?
I can't script this, Riley. My daughter at UConn, Kylie, love her to death, texts me this morning at 10 o'clock and says, Dad, does the Nationals have a chance to win tonight?
The Nationals and A's.
So that's where the UConn guys are. They're on the Nationals today. I said, hon, it's a coin flip. I have a soft heart for Irvin. He's been pitching great. But you're spot on, by the way. It is definitely a Nationals number.
Yeah, I mean, just looking on paper there, I mean, even Irvin obviously 6-11, but obviously not too much his fault. I mean, yesterday made a little more sense. The Giants and Padres was actually at least a decent matchup. Now she's shooting out questions about the Nationals and A's. That's a new one. So, maybe move away from the A's and Nationals. That could also just be. I mean, is it likely that maybe it's a Nationals line, but the game is so bad? How many people are betting on this game? Could this just be a trap for someone like me?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, on paper, you got Oakland at 48-81, Nationals 43-85. It's the hometown discount. For me, the only way I'd be betting this game is Oakland. I would take Irvin in a heartbeat over Fedde. Fedde's been okay of late. It's just two teams that the season's over. They're already worrying about, what time do I have to report to spring training? Hey, can I get a golf am I golfing on October 4th or not? I mean, their lockers are cleaned out. They're gone. So if you go to the window and bet this game, shame on you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. As much as I would lean one way, it's not one that I'm going to be taking my money to. So, heading to Toronto for the next one, Cubs and the Blue Jays. Stroman versus Gosman. Jays get the bounce back in the 11th inning last night. You've got Stroman for the Cubs, 11 hits, 5 earned runs last time out versus the Cardinals. Gosman himself, 9 hits, 4 earned runs versus the Red Sox last time out. And we are seeing about -215 in the Blue Jays' favor. Any which way you like on this one, or is this a tough one to call?
They were almost dead again. They were on life support. They bounced back last night. Here's another angle for you: the return of Marcus Stroman.
Oh, that's right, of course.
Former Jays. You want to say, listen, Gosman's going to bounce back. The Jays steal one yesterday. In comes Marcus. Marcus is all happy. He's back home. He went out last night, partied with the boys. You expect Toronto to win the first 5. You expect them to win the run line. Show it to me 2 days in a row without having going to extra innings. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I think I'm with you on this one. I mean, I'm not a total guy, but maybe this one stays under. I don't know. Yeah, I anytime I'm interested in thinking Stroman's due for a good start, it doesn't happen for me. So, he's. I think I'm with you though. It could be a spirited performance for him tonight in Toronto, as far as that is concerned. But moving on to one of the games of the day, matchup of the day, Dodgers and Mets. Heaney versus Walker, and we are seeing about -140 for the LA Dodgers. Is that a Mets line all the way, or is that just flat out respect to Taijuan Walker and the way he's pitching right now?
I'm trying to get a feel if we got a number here. Okay, so let's play the game here. Dodgers Mets -110 in the series. What do you got for matchups the next 2 days?
Let's see. It might be. I think it is a 3-game series, right? Let's see.
Is this Scherzer and DeGrom?
Let's see. Tomorrow is DeGrom versus Tyler Anderson, and then tomorrow is Bassett versus undecided. So you get DeGrom tomorrow, Bassett on Thursday.
And it's only a pick 'em in the series. When I first saw this, respecting and trusting the opening number, it's a Dodger number in my eyes.
Okay.
It's a Dodger number. I mean, here come the Mets. This is the playoff pregame series here. Game 3 will be Bassett. It won't be Scherzer, correct?
That's what at least that's what this app is telling me. It says maybe Friday for Scherzer or Saturday for Scherzer.
Haney's been good, and you're getting them minus 130. Again, I'm respecting and trusting the opening line. It was 141 overnight, so it's a Dodger number to me. Anyone that wants to back Walker and the Mets, I understand that, TJ. I don't have a problem with you running in the window and playing the Mets here. But Vegas is telling me they're making a statement. They like the Dodgers tonight.
Okay, I think I'm with you on that one. Yeah, Scherzer pitched on Sunday against Colorado, so we won't see him in this series, but you'll get DeGrom tomorrow. And then let's see, next game up, I believe we've got Seattle and Detroit. This one is in Detroit. Kirby versus Matt Manning. For those of you who have not been paying attention, Matt Manning, 2.4 ERA over 5 starts here in August. Been pretty damn solid, actually, but he can be hit. He gave up 10 hits to my White Sox, 4 earned runs on a couple weeks ago, August 13th. George Kirby has been solid. Tigers just won 3 out of their last 4, scored 6+ in all 4 of those games. Any interest in the Tigers today on this line here in Detroit, or is this a spot where you might be interested in Seattle and George Kirby?
I think the public will be all over Seattle, first 5 minus the hook, Seattle run line. You're getting your guaranteed 27 outs. You're on the road. Kirby has been pretty damn good. But, hey, listen, Manning's been solid as well. I'll just go on record. It smells like a trap game to me, I think, for some God reason. Don't forget last year, by the way. This was the time that the Tigers got hot and they ended the season hot. So I'm just buyer beware on the Mariners here. That's my point to everyone.
I'm 100% with you. Matt Manning has been good. You're right. This Tigers team, they basically led a lot of people into buying their overs for the pre-flop for the season this year. So 50 and 78, their offense is showing signs of life for maybe the first time all season. So, I'm with you. George Kirby could be due for some regression without a doubt. So, next one up, Colorado and Atlanta. Jose Urena versus Max Fried. Fried has obviously been very good lately. Jose Urena has not been very good lately. 1 1/3 inning pitch, 9 hits, 9 earned runs, none of them home runs, 3 walks in his last outing in Colorado. It was not a good start, obviously, for him. I believe this is the biggest number we've got on the board, my friend. Any way to get into this one, or is Jose Urena going to pull something out of his you-know-what and have some action for the Rockies on the road here tonight?
Out of his Uranus?
There you go. That was an easy miss on my part there.
It's kind of comical. I had 3 or 4 futures on MLB season wins, who was going to lead the majors, and of course, my guys just hit the window, hit the whatever you want to say, the door, with Manoah, with Gilbert, with Bassett coming down the stretch. There's a couple others. But my point here was Verlander could be scratched this week with calf issues. And then Gonsolin goes on the 15-day or 10-day DL. Right. And here comes Max Fried, a chance to get number 17 tonight. And so I'm out. I think it's you can't get in there, obviously. I'm not. If you Venmo'd me 100 on Atlanta tonight, I'd Venmo you 200 to take the bride out and go catch the White Sox at home against Singer. How's that sound?
I like it. I may or may not have a buddy that's offering tickets to me tonight as far as that game is concerned specifically. Go. I will add in, though, 6-7 mile an hour wind blowing out. Jose Urena did not give up any home runs in that last start. Obviously, only lasted an inning in the third. I'm going to go Matt Olson for my home run prop of the day against Jose Urena. I believe, let me pull this up because it was an eye-popping number of home runs that Jose Urena has given up this month. Let's see. In the month of August, it's only 6. Okay, 6 home runs, only 6, over 5 starts, and that does not include 9 earned runs allowed in his last one. So I'm going to go Matt Olson to hit a bomb tonight. It was about plus 280 last I checked.
I like that. Who are the lefties you got for Atlanta over there?
I was doing some checking. I don't remember. Let's see. I know they released their lineup. Where did they go here? Yeah. So you've got is not Dansby Swanson. He's not lefty. Michael Harris in the 2-hole. He's got 13 home runs on the year. That might be a decent option there. And that's probably the better options there. Rosario's left-hander. Contreras is right-hander. So, yeah, looks like Harris, Olsen, and Rosario might be your options there.
I'll take Harris for a bomb.
Okay, those odds are probably pretty decent as compared to mine. But, yeah, there's going to be a couple bombs at least tonight in that one. Harris plus 420 on FanDuel over there. So,
Ding, ding,
worth
ding,
the price
ding,
shot
ding,
there.
ding.
Worth some price shopping on those, though. Going over to your, not in your neck of the woods, but the team in your neck of the woods, Boston versus Minnesota. Last night, the Twins get the 4-2 win there. You've got Cutter Crawford versus Chris Archer here tonight. Archer, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned run last time out versus Houston. Really hasn't been going past 4 to 5 innings at all this season. Bogart's endeavors actually have some decent numbers against him. Cutter Crawford has not been very good lately. 10 and 11 hits allowed in each of his last 2 starts. Given the splits on Crawford lately, are you surprised that this number is not a little bit higher, or do you think this one's fair right now in Minnesota for the Red Sox?
I think our buddy SoCal had a number of like the Twins 1-12 with Archer after a win in Game 2. I think it's a Red Sox number. I think they might bounce back. I don't have any hope their season is over. We do know that for a fact. Devers just seems like he's nicked up with Bogarts. I did this one time for us. I think it was about a month ago. I'm gonna dig deep here for Dugo Homer. How's that?
Okay, I do not hate that at all. Chris Archer. I don't know the exact stat that you were talking about from SoCal. He's lost, or the Twins have lost each of their last 8 starts, going back to the end of July with him, or actually the end of June. Going back to the end of June, they've lost each and every single one of his outings. So, and some of them he hasn't really been that bad, but yeah, really not going past 4 or 5 innings. So, I had some interest in the Red Sox as well there. So, glad we're on the same page there. Houston and Texas, the next one up. Valdez versus Dane Dunning. Framber Valdez, 4th time this season based in Texas. The first 3 were all very good. Were you surprised that this number was not much higher in the Astros case? Yeah, this one stinks to high heaven quite a bit here. What's the number at right now? About minus 140 for the Astros. This one's coming down. Am I wrong?
No, an overnight number of 140. Let me see what they have here at Wager Talk. I was looking at Don Best here. Let me go over to Wager Talk. 170 overnight, down to 140, down to 138 from our friends with John Murray at Westgate. John, what are you doing to us? You got the bad guys there? Or is this a trap that you're setting saying money's leaking in on the Rangers? And then, you got a Valdez homer to start. And then you got, let me see, Bregman. You got Tucker, and you're going to bait everyone. This one stinks to high heaven, guys. I respect the 170. It's down to 140. It's a Ranger number, guys. I'll just say it. I'll get the banana in the tailpipe, okay? Banana in the tailpipe, but it's a Ranger number.
I'm with you. I mean, last 3 days for the Astros, obviously lose 2 out of 3 of the Orioles. 0 runs, 1 run, 3 runs scored for them. And then the Rangers last 4 days, 16. And that was in Colorado, but 16. And then into home versus Detroit, 7, 2, and then 8. So their offense is firing a little bit right now. It hasn't led to a ton of wins. But, yeah, if you get a nice performance from Dunning and obviously you're putting up runs, then, you're in good shape there. Dunning, not terrible numbers against the Astros. Obviously seen them a handful of times. Not terrible numbers by any means. So moving on to the next one, Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. You mentioned Milwaukee a tiny bit as far as chasing the Cardinals right now. Pittsburgh throwing out Mitch Keller today, Jason Alexander, George Costanza for the Milwaukee Brewers there. The Brewers 3 straight wins, but we are seeing minus 175 or so. Another one, I'm going to ask you, were you surprised to not see this number higher with the 68-team win and the 48-win team, or is this a fair line given the pitching matchup that we've got in front of us today?
And you say no one listens to us. As we were speaking, Don Best sends me the note, Mr. Yordan Alvarez is doubtful, day of
Ah,
rest. So, again, the big stick out of the
I
middle of
see.
the lineup there for the Astros. The Brewers, again, on life support. They were fortunate enough. Anyone that backed the Brewers last night on the run line, of all people, they get the walk-off homer. Keller has not been good. And as you said, George Costanza tonight, minus 170. I've seen it as low as 165 at our friends at South Point right now. Say hello to Chris and Veason over there. If you're going to play the Brewers, play the run line and pray. You got lucky last night. Go back and do it again. I'm out.
Yeah.
I know the Pirates are bad. They should have won
Yeah.
last night. They couldn't hold on. I'm out. But again, anyone wants to back the Brewers run line, God bless you.
No, I'm 100% with you. Maybe they go to Arizona for 4 next. Maybe that's a series where the Brewers might be worth a fade in at least a couple of those games there this upcoming weekend. How about that?
Hey, listen, I pity anyone that had the Phillies' first 5 run line. They were up 7-0 in the
Oh,
fourth with 1 out, and then here comes the ultimate. You would have thought it was the Arizona Cardinals scoring 2 touchdowns out of nowhere, 7 and then 6, 13 spot. Thanks for playing. Ouch.
yeah. Is that the worst first 5 loss of the season? So what is it? Was it 7-0 lead going into the fourth, bottom of the fourth? Is that the worst of the year?
1 out to boot. You were 5 outs away, and they put up 13. And
Oh,
again, I talk about the Phillies and the middle and the relief and the back end. Listen, when you put together a softball team and you think you're going to outscore these teams, and again, we've talked about the pesky Diamondbacks. They haven't quit. Arizona right now, let me pull them up right here. Arizona, 60 and 67. They're only 7 games out of below 500, and it's a hell of a pitching matchup coming in there too. So tread lightly.
yeah, they're only 1 game back of the Giants. Obviously, the Giants aren't being talked about nicely, but yeah, I think when you put it into that perspective, it's definitely eye-opening for the Diamondbacks there. Going to my neck of the woods, I said I might be there in attendance again tonight. Royals and White Sox, Singer versus Giolito, minus 130 for the White Sox here tonight. Is that a give it to me straight? Is that a Royals number, or is that just some respect to Mr. Singer, who has been very good this season?
I have Singer on our fantasy team. We're only up 9.5 for second place in 7,500. I'm trying to hold on. Every day I wake up, I scratch another day off the calendar. We're not going to catch first prize. We're battling for second for 7,500 or third for 5,000. I really could use the 7,500 here, Riley. It's a Singer number. It's a Kansas City number. The inconsistency of Giolito. It's a great price for you. If you're going to the game, you want to take the White Sox first 5, go ahead. I think your back end is stronger than Kansas City. You're getting a great price on the full game. Just tread lightly. That's all I'm going to suggest.
You know what? I've been waiting for a lineup to come out. It has not come out. The one guy who has been the main guy who's been good against Singer has been questionable. Eloy Jimenez, like 7 for 13 lifetime against Singer, but might not be in the lineup today. So if he's in, it's going to give me a little more optimism. Maybe he's the one guy that would break something up and lead this offense. But if he's out, my optimism levels for this offense are going to be a lot lesser in that one. Giolito was good last time out, but as we've seen this year, that he hasn't had too many back-to-back good performances. So, yeah, we're on life support over here, man. The energy level and excitement and hope is on life support right now. So, next one
Hey,
up. Go ahead.
you got the Bulls coming up in about 2 months.
Surely they won't disappoint us, right? Surely they won't disappoint us. No. Uh, the Angels hosting the Yankees in this next one here. 3 more left, including this one. Myers for the Angels going up against Jameson Taillon. Yankees lose last night in Anaheim. Judge gets his number 50th home run. Taillon 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run last outing. Another one. Were you expecting this one to be quite a bit higher for the Yankees case, or is this maybe a fair line here?
Angels have now won 4 in a row, right? 3 against Toronto. Fly all the way back from Toronto. They take down the Yankees last night.
Yep.
The public's going to be back on I don't hear the public, by the way. All those guys that had the Yankees last night, run line, first five, team total. Can you guys tell me where you are? Because you were chirping before the game started, and I don't know where you are. So I'd like to hear from you. It's an angel number.
Yeah.
It's an angel number. I'm not going to back them. Listen, would I be shocked if Talion and company win the first five, win the full game, run line, team total? I wouldn't, but it's not a number. They should be minus about 200 tonight, and they're not.
Right. And on top of that, as far as the the public perception, I mean, I didn't watch that game. Woke up after seeing the Aaron Judge stuff last night. Woke up, was looking through these games. I assumed that the Yankees had won last night, given the Aaron Judge home run. So I think a lot of people don't realize that the Yankees lost last night and are assuming you get the 50th home run for Judge. The crowd response it sounded like it was at Yankee Stadium there. So I'm 100% with you. This one stinks just as much as any of these other ones do for me today. So moving on, two more left. Talked about the Diamondbacks. They are hosting the Phillies tonight. Good pitching matchup. Nola versus Gallen. Gallen with 4 straight games, 4 straight starts, 0 earned run allowed. Nola himself 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5. And we are seeing a line of minus 140 or so, give or take wherever you're at, in favor of the Phillies. Any way you liking this one? How you breaking down this pitching matchup tonight?
I'll just say this. It's a Philly number. I thought that it would actually be a little lower, and it's not. Galleon's been pitching great. A great game by Arizona. If you had the Phillies last night, you have to go back to them again. Now, I'm not telling you to lay the 140. You got to have big cojones. What is the Philly run line tonight?
Plus 125, 130.
See, so you're getting a minus 135, a 130 at South Point. Yet, what is the run line again?
About plus 125.
So Vegas is telling you if the Phillies win, they're covering the run line. So that's the way you play that game. You just go back, you put the ticket in, you put it away, and you just move on. That's all you can do here.
How about Nola with a 3.08 ERA? He's got a WHIP sub 1, and yet he's 9-10 as far as record. If that doesn't tell you that a record don't mean a squat as far as what a starting pitcher is, then I don't know what. But especially for a winning team, 15 games above 500. How many times have we seen that?
Can I get a price on a Schwarber homer?
Let me see here. Schwarber home run will be plus 280.
I'll go with a Schwarber homer.
I like it. I like that one. Going up, last one of the evening, the San Diego Padres get the win last night in San Francisco. Snell versus Webb. Giants favored last night. Now we are seeing, let's double check the live lines, or the accurate lines right now, minus 130 for the San Diego Padres. Was it minus 130 for the Giants last night? Am I wrong in saying that, or is that right about where it was last night, right?
It was right. What I'm surprised. I thought the opening number would be a pick or the Giants would be favored. And
for tonight's case? For
tonight's game. And now I see the Padres. That's a Padre number. Webb has at SoCal 20. He was like 24-3 in their 27 starts. The Giants were as when Webb started at home.
Right.
And I'm surprised at this number. Vegas is telling me Padres win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Snell, I could expect a bounce back from Snell. He wasn't very good last time out, 6 earned run last time out. Webb is 6 unearned runs, 0 earned runs, 6 unearned run last time out. Yeah, I could see some home regression from Webb or just a flat-out bounce back from Snell on this one. So I believe that is every single game that we've got for tonight's action, my friend. First one starts in just over an hour, Baltimore and Cleveland. Anything else to drop down before we get out of here?
Yes, scheduling changes. We will initially be dark on Thursday morning. I will be in Boston helping my daughter move into South Boston. Tomorrow we have Andrew McGinnis at 1 o'clock. We have Dan Alexander at 2:30. So I will line you up for 4 o'clock in the closing bell.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Unless, is it more of a day schedule than a night schedule tomorrow?
You know what? Let's see. It's pretty split. There's a decent amount of games. 1, 2, 3. Only 3 in the day, actually. No, there's a handful of night games there tomorrow.
So we'll do a bell at 4:00. So we're going to go 1:00, Andrew McGinnis, 2:30, Dan Alexander, you and I at 4:00 for the closing bell.
Sounds good to me. I will be there.
All right. Thanks to all the listeners. There's no ECSI without you guys. If you're not following us, please do over on YouTube and Twitch at East Coast Sports Investors. If you're on TikTok, if you could go over to TikTok and follow us there as well at East Coast Sports Investors. You can follow me on Twitter at EC Sports Invest. You can follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. And tonight, it's a big schedule. Be careful. Stay in your lanes. Stay focused. Thursday night, we'll be talking some college football. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the closing bell, myself and Riley. So if you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Cash some tickets, have some fun, and we'll see you back in the morning.